Miss Mama work. I'm also looking forward to Eurovision this year. It's gonna be epic because there are some songs that are really great. If you have nothing to do on Saturday, 13th of May, um, why are you doing this? The biggest event of Europe is going on. Like, it is the biggest event ever. Eurovision? You don't know Eurovision? Okay, Eurovision. So, Eurovision Song Contest, like every country sends representatives, like a band or a singer, uh, uh, like a singing. It's a singing contest, so they send someone who is not extremely popular, but has some skills. They send them over to compete in the singing contest, and over the years, so this thing is going on for over 60 years. So like, it started in the 50s, so it's going for more than 70 years even. Yeah, it's like for over 70 years. This song contest is held every year except in 2020 because of COVID. So that was the one year there was no Eurovision Song Contest. So every year it's being held. And so there are at least 40 countries competing. So we have 2 semi-finals and 1 big final. And the money that goes into this shit is phenomenal. It's like bigger than it's held every year, and I think it costs almost as much as Olympics. It's amazing. So you have all these songs, and these artists are from a certain culture. Whether they from Poland, they have Polish. Whether they from Ukraine, or like Dutch, they have Dutch heritage. So every song has a little bit of culture to it. It doesn't have to be cultural. It can be like about alcohol or partying. It can be any generic kind of song, but they have usually some kind of culture behind it, and they compete for like the big trophy, and I think they win some kind of money. And it developed during the years into a competition of not only skill but also performance. So you have these big LED screens, you have fireworks, you have acrobatics, you have things literally on fire or whatever, and every year it's a surprise what's going on, what will they do, what will they happen, how bad are the songs, how good are the songs. Basically like that kind of stuff going on. Let's start a reaction channel, Eurovision. Poof. Geography now. There we go. Let's get this one stopped. Okay. That sounds nice. I love to kind of see people, kind of human interaction. Yeah.
Hey everybody, so the next few scripts are almost done being written. We're going to film this week, so that means this is round 2 of filler week. I asked you guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram what Eurovision. I had no idea what it was, and then when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is a big deal.
I love Geography now. They're really great.
What is Eurovision? Explained by the perfect candidate, me. An American.
And Barney is an American.
Now, if you really want to know what Europeans think of each other, don't watch the news or read an article on history. Just watch Eurovision. Speaking of alliances, though, before we get into this video is a
Eurovision
video,
is the best way to understand Eurovision.
Because I can't stand using this thing anymore. Thank you, Alliance Heroes of the Spire, for sponsoring this video. This are 10 PvP between links in the description. Seems to have a strange alliance with video game companies. Like Geography Now isn't a gaming channel, yet the Spire I content Well, first of
thought
all,
you were wrong. There we
specifically,
go.
it's the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes.
Eurovision is actually the name of the network in Switzerland that kind of started the whole thing. Second of all, in
Yeah,
the
I
shortest
can't
way
get rid
I
of
can
that.
summarize it, it's like the longest running, most watched singing competition in the world, held in
Yes.
May with finals sometimes lasting up to 4 hours. It involves mostly all of the countries in Europe.
Yeah, so you can see. Oh, you can see here who all competed. So, I think the red is yeah, that's that's not Luxembourg. That's the other this micro country here. That's not, they are not competing anymore because it was like too expensive and they were always losing. The Vatican is not. The Vatican has never done an entry. I don't know what the light green is. I think that's new. Well, Russia is not competing anymore. I think for a while we had Turkey and Morocco in there as well, but they just were like, yeah, we don't have enough friends to win, so we're not going to compete anymore. And it's very expensive. But Israel is competing, so that's interesting. And lately, Australia is competing.
And a few that aren't even in it as well. Literally every country in Europe except for Liechtenstein
Ah,
and
Liechtenstein,
no surprise,
yeah.
Vatican City has competed at least once in the competition. Can you imagine a Vatican priest competing in the competition? Who knows, maybe one day. I mean, Europe is pretty surprising. So how
Yeah.
did it all begin? Basically, back in the 1950s, Europe had to figure out a way to make everybody cool with each other after World War II. So, no shocker, Europe's little rational psychiatrist Switzerland was like, hey, everyone likes music, so let's do a friendly little singing competition amongst each other to appease the masses.
Yes.
And it worked! Switzerland, the most neutral of all nations, hosted the first competition in Lugano with 7 countries, and no surprise.
Yeah, so the Netherlands was there, Switzerland, Germany, which I find really surprising. Just after the war, Germany was in the singing competition, so that was really interesting. France, Italy, and I have no idea who you are.
Switzerland, the most
To be
neutral
fair,
competitor,
I think
won the first
Belgium.
competition. Since then, it's
Belgium.
been going on literally for over 60 years, slowly
Let me see: Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Italy, Belgium, France, Germany. Yeah.
over time, new countries joined in. After the fall of the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia, tons of new countries wanted in, and now over 40 are taking part. Basically, each country submits an original song and a singer or group to perform for the grand prize. You know, on the
Yes.
surface, it seems kind of fun, but underneath the whole deal, it's like this whole systematically complex, formulated competition. It involves a lot of math, politics, and strategy.
Yeah, especially the politics. Politics is awful, so I never watch the scoring because that's boring as hell, to be fair, because it's a very long-winded affair. The way they do the scoring, at least last couple of years, that they have a jury, and you have televoting, and televoting is all like electronic, so they just do that on the end. But they want to have every country's jury to have a say, so they call up the jury in the country. So imagine in the 90s and 2000s calling up through like the old internet cables. It was a nightmare. And of course, because the person reading the numbers is like, I want to have my time in the spotlight, they're doing some weird shit, saying some stuff, and it's so boring. And it all goes with like politics.
By strategy, I mean this.
It's my
The
favorite
rules
song.
are always changing because they always find new problems. But for one, you get 3 minutes to sing, and you can choose whatever language you want. However, recently a lot of people have just chosen to sing in English. Belgium once trolled everybody by singing in a fake language twice. And for some reason, Norway once sang in Swahili.
Yeah. Okay, I want to comment on the Swahili thing. The reason why some countries add a language that is not like theirs. So, for example, I think it was last year or the year before, the Netherlands sent in an entry that was in completely different language. I think it was not Swahili. It was a Curaçaoan or something, or Suriname. I don't remember. Like from those areas, I thought that was really progressive, because the Kingdom of the Netherlands still has a couple of colonies, and I know it sounds really weird, but we have colonies, and they have their own language. And when I grew up, I didn't even know. I mean, there was like the country of Suriname, which is in South Africa. They speak Dutch, but they also speak like Suriname, and that's a completely different language, of course. And then we have a couple of colonies near the ABC Islands, which is in. I'm terrible at geography, but it's like Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, I think. Those three islands, who are I think even bigger than the Netherlands itself, are part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They basically paying taxes to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They have the king, which is the Dutch king, and everything, and so we barely hear from them, which is kind of a shame. So the Swahili was because there was a big subculture in the country of people speaking Swahili. So I thought it was really fun. So it wasn't really out of the blue that they were speaking Swahili for that song, but it is very interesting to have that going on.
Now, because they are the biggest financial contributors, there are 5 countries that automatically qualify for the final every year. They are France, Germany, Spain, the UK, and Italy. Now, you might think because these countries automatically qualify, that might be unfair. So
it's not unfair. I do like the fact that the UK is still in here because of Brexit. I don't know how long it's going to last though, but I do like the fact that UK was like, well, we don't want to do the tax thing with you guys. We don't want to do the whole European Union with you guys, but we do want to stay in the Eurovision Song Contest. Like that's the big line that we do not cross. I thought that was so hilarious.
to make up for it, these countries usually send in singers that like deliberately suck so they can kind of make up for the advantage.
I love this song. It's a funny song. You wanna have a mustache?
Now, how do you win? Well, in order to win, you have to get the points, which happens through voting. The voting system has changed throughout the years. At first, there was a single jury that voted. Then there was a jury in every competing nation that gave a point system between 1 to 8, 10, and 12 points to their favorite performers. Then in 1997, they experimented with the first call-in televoting system. Then that got messy because politics. So in 2016, they brought back the juries and fused the two together so each got a 50-50 say in the point system. Basically, the rule is you can't vote for your own country, but you can give points to other countries. True. This is where politics usually comes in and why the televoting system got kind of messy. You can really get a sense of who the real friends are.
So one of the things that really are apparent is like the more immigrants you have of a country, the more points that country gets. So like we had a huge influx of Polish workers for a while here in the Netherlands because the Netherlands pays a lot better than Poland, to be fair. And so the Polish people who live in the Netherlands and have like a Dutch telephone and everything, they vote for Poland usually. So suddenly Poland is getting way more points from the Netherlands than they had before. We also give a lot of points to Belgium because the Netherlands and Belgium are very politically aligned. And we also really like Germany, although in case of the points, it's not that much. But Belgium is usually a big friend of ours. We like to when Turkey was in there, we have a lot of Turkish immigrants. Turkey was getting a lot of points as well. I used to like not get it when I was young, but now it's like very apparent. Like all those, Belgium get a lot of points from the Netherlands. I think Portugal and Spain like to give each other points, and Greece and Cyprus are also very very buddy buddy. That's like so predictable. You cannot bet on it because it's like known. It's a known thing that if you have Greece, they will give 12 points, which is the highest point, to Cyprus, and Cyprus gives 12 points to Greece. It's like always that happening.
The Nordic countries always support each other. The Slavic countries, Greece
Yeah.
and Cyprus, always give each other like the highest points, and so on. So that's why they had to bring the jury system back to balance things out. To this day,
got another
Ireland has
ad.
the
Oh,
most
no.
wins at 7. Sweden comes in next at 6. France and Luxembourg and the UK each have 5. The Netherlands has 4. Denmark, Israel, and Norway have 3.
I wish I
Austria,
could
Germany, Italy, Spain,
get the ads
Switzerland,
off,
and the
but
Ukraine each have 2. Otherwise, when it
Twitch
comes to
is like,
performances,
no,
pretty much
just
anything
give
goes. You
ads
can
to
wear
everyone.
wacky costumes, use silly props, you can
Yeah.
incorporate elements that illustrate your nation's culture or heritage. You can run around.
Yeah. So that so the Polish thing that was a very controversial one, because let's go back 5.
Use silly props.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
incorporate.
yeah. So this group, they had a milkmaid on the stage, and the milkmaid was churning butter. The milkmaid had a cleavage that was like, holy moly, like insane, and the cameraman almost dove into that cleavage. It was like not safe for work. It was insane, like truly insane at that moment, and everyone was like, "What on earth are you doing?" So this group that is showing right now, this Polish, they like Barbie was talking, so it was like, yeah, this is about culture, and but this is not about culture. Like, well, usually Eurovision Song Contest should be for like all ages, but that was absolutely not safe for work in that time.
Elements that illustrate your nation's culture or heritage. You can run around in a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You don't even have to use performers that are from your country. I mean, Celine Dion won in the 80s. She competed for Switzerland, and she's from Canada. You can take the competition seriously, or you can make a complete fool of yourself. And that's kind of the other thing that needs to be addressed. Apparently, from what I've been told, many of the countries that compete in Eurovision don't even want to win Eurovision. As in, they deliberately...
Well, I like Barbie has a point, but it's not that obvious anymore. So in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was very very clear that everyone was like, let's just troll everyone, let's just do things for fun, because the songs were awful. They were literally very awful. They couldn't hold the tune. They were mostly for like, let's see how far we can get things. And it became really apparent that at that time it was just for the fun, and I loved watching Eurovision Song Contest. After the early 2000s, they began to take it more seriously again, and you really notice this in like the fun factor going down. But you still have a couple of countries that are like, yeah, let's have the weird one going, and I love those parts. Like in 2019, the Netherlands won in 2019, but the group that I wanted to see was Iceland. Iceland sent a techno BDSM group complete in latex, with with someone with a baby face but grunching like insanity, and other like spiky weirdos. And I was like, yes, I want to see this. This is my life. Let's watch this. And they were they were the group that I really wanted to see. I didn't care about the song of the Netherlands. I didn't care about that song. I was like, let's see that group. That group is called Hattery, by the way. Lovely, lovely group. inside they are very nice, but they look insane with their like latex, and the drummer is in a gas mask and spikes and whatever. It's insane. I love it. So nowadays it's becoming way more seriously again. People or like countries really want to win. They actually, for example, this year, uh, the Dutch entry didn't do very well in the rehearsals, and they were singing kind of badly. And Dutch people were really enraged. They were like, don't flop this. We want to win this." So everyone is getting like more seriously.
Suck so that they can lose. Now, why would you want to lose Eurovision? Because according to the rules, the winning country of Eurovision has to host the next Eurovision.
That's true.
Hosting a Eurovision is like hosting a little mini Olympics. It costs a lot of money and
Yeah, this year is basically one a special year because last year Ukraine won. Well, there is a reason why Ukraine cannot host Eurovision, right? And it's because of Russia. It's because of the war. The second place decided. So England, UK decided to host Eurovision Song Contest this year. They were second place, so it wasn't that far off, and so now they have to like do all this. But at the same time, I mean, well, the Queen wasn't dead yet. Yeah, so Queen Elizabeth was still alive, so they didn't know. But it is kind of a weird coincidence that both the coronation of King, what's his name again? Charles? Royalty. The fact that the coronation of King Charles is like this Saturday and Eurovision Song Contest next Saturday, that's a big coincidence. It's both all in the UK, so that's insane.
Taxes to accommodate such a huge event that gets bigger and bigger every year. And this is where the infamous troll contestants come in. Every year there are so many with like over-the-top, campy, horribly constructed performances. And it's one of the biggest appeals to watching Eurovision.
It is a big
Everybody
appeal.
wants to see the trolls. And it's almost like there's an art to it. Typically, you can tell if it's a troll if the song is either about partying, dancing, or having fun. Usually played to a very poppy techno EDM track, usually accompanied by over-the-top flashy costumes and props or bad dancing. From what I've seen, Latvia and Lithuania seem to be really good at this. Like Latvia once dressed up as pirates. Lithuania literally submitted this.
Winners of Eurovision. Those are some epic songs, you know. They're not good,
they
they're epic.
Place that year. You know, usually there's going to be a bunch of slip-ups and mistakes.
Yeah, that guy, it's supposed to be so nice, but
Ireland once sent in a screaming puppet.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Ireland really didn't want to win.
The singing can get pretty intense.
Poor girl, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and the lyrics, sometimes they're just genius.
I know this song so well.
One time Finland won with this group.
Yeah, okay. Okay. You might not like their costumes, but Lordi is amazing. So if you go Finland, Lordi, if you like rock, they are great. They're lovely. They have a lot of pyrotechnics in their shows. My brother went to one of their concerts, and he really liked it. Like, he's a fan of Rammstein and all the like, and he really loved them. So yeah, they are a good group. Like, they belong with the greats.
Oh, and don't forget, drag queens after winning drag queens. And there was that one time Russia was like, eh.
What people forget, by the way, Barbie is not telling this. Talking about transsexuality. Israel, like, what do you think? That country sent a trans woman, and the trans woman won. And she was called. I knew the name and I remember it. It was. I know the song is Viva la Vida, Viva Victoria, Aphrodita. Viva la Vida, Viva la Victoria, Aphrodita. It was Israel. Eurovision. Diva? Was it Diva? I'm gonna have water! Dana International. Dana International. Thank you, by the way. Dana International. Trans woman. I don't think they knew she was a trans woman, which is like past. But she was the winner of one of the first Israel contests, Eurovision. And she was amazing. It was in 1998. Can you imagine? 1998, before the 2000s, and there was a trans woman on the stage, and she won the contest. It was amazing. Nobody knew she was trans, so whatever. But the fact that it was news after that. Also, Eurovision is absolutely gay. By the way, it's so gay. Like 90% of the people who react to them is gay. Because of all the glitter and the glam and the makeup and the stuff. It's amazing. It's such a prideful gay party.
Screw it. We're just going to send in a bunch of grandmas baking bread on stage.
Oh, they were so cute. Come on now. Everybody does.
And they actually got second place. In the end,
everyone was voting for the grandmas. Everyone. The fact that the jury didn't want to give them the points was so disappointing. Those grandmas were so cute.
Eurovision Song Contest is like Europe's complete musical battle royale that brings in the entire continent, plus some other countries that are not part of their continent. Which begs the question, do I think the USA should take part in Eurovision? No, absolutely not. No. For one, we're not part of Europe. Second, we'd probably ruin it, like...
Yeah, okay. Can I get you out of here? Yeah. That's enough. There we go. That was Eurovision in a nutshell.